I was obsessed with Instagram. I loved posting pictures of myself, my friends, my food, my travels, and anything else that made me look cool and happy. I loved getting likes, comments, and followers. I loved being popular and admired. But I also hated Instagram. I hated how it made me feel insecure and inadequate. I hated how it made me compare myself to others and feel jealous and envious. I hated how it made me lie and fake my life. I was addicted to Instagram. I couldn't stop checking it, scrolling through it, updating it. I couldn't live without it. But I also wanted to quit Instagram. I wanted to break free from its hold on me. I wanted to live a real life, not a virtual one. That's why I decided to do something drastic. I decided to delete my Instagram account. It was not an easy decision. It took me months of debating, hesitating, and procrastinating, but I finally gathered the courage and did it. I opened the app on my phone, went to the settings, and tapped on delete your account. I confirmed my choice and entered my password. A message popped up on the screen. Your account has been deleted. We're sorry to see you go. I felt a surge of relief and liberation. I had done it. I had deleted my Instagram account. I had deleted my fake life. I had deleted my addiction. I had deleted my obsession. I had deleted my problem. Or so I thought. The next day, I woke up feeling refreshed and happy. I felt like a new person. I felt like I had a fresh start. I got ready for school and left my house. As I walked to the bus stop, I noticed something strange. People were staring at me. Not just glancing or looking, but staring. They had weird expressions on their faces. Some looked shocked, some looked scared, some looked angry, some looked disgusted. They whispered to each other and pointed at me. They took out their phones and snapped pictures of me. They acted like they had never seen me before, or like they had seen something horrible. I didn't understand what was going on. I felt confused and nervous. I tried to ignore them and act normal, but it was hard. It was very hard. When I got to school, things got worse. My friends avoided me. My teachers ignored me. My classmates bullied me. They called me names, threw things at me, pushed me around. They laughed at me, mocked me, taunted me. They said things like, "What did you do to yourself? Why did you ruin your face? How could you be so stupid? What were you thinking?" They acted like they hated me, or like they were afraid of me. I didn't understand what was going on. I felt hurt and angry. I tried to defend myself and fight back, but it was useless. It was very useless. When I got home, things got worse still. My parents yelled at me. My siblings ignored me. My pets ran away from me. They treated me like a stranger, or like an enemy. They said things like, "Who are you? What have you done? Where is our child? Get out of our house." They acted like they didn't know me, or like they wished they didn't know me. I didn't understand what was going on. I felt scared and alone. I tried to explain myself and apologize, but it was hopeless. It was very hopeless. When I got to my room, things got worse than ever. I looked in the mirror and screamed. I saw a face that was not mine. A face that was deformed and mutilated. A face that was covered in scars and stitches. A face that was ugly and monstrous. A face that was horrifying and terrifying. A face that was not human. A face that was not mine. But it was mine. It was mine because someone had made it mine. Someone had hacked into my Instagram account. Someone had edited all my pictures. Someone had changed all my features. Someone had distorted all my proportions. Someone had uploaded all my pictures. Someone had tagged all my contacts. Someone had exposed all my lies. Someone had ruined all my life. Someone had done this to me. Someone who hated me. Someone who wanted to hurt me. Someone who wanted to destroy me. Someone who wanted to kill me. And they had succeeded. They had killed me. They had killed the old me. The fake me. The popular me. The happy me. And they had created a new me. The real me. The ugly me. The hated me. The miserable me. And they had left me a message. A message on my phone. A message that said, "Your account has been deleted. We're sorry to see you go." I woke up one morning like any other day, ready to tackle the daily grind. My smartphone lay on the bedside table, its screen beckoning with the familiar glow of notifications. The thing about social media is that it had become an integral part of our lives, like an invisible chain that binds us to an alternate reality. As I grabbed my phone, the first thing that caught my eye was an email notification from an unfamiliar address. The subject line read, "We know your darkest secret." Intrigued and a bit unnerved, I clicked on it. The message was cryptic, saying they had evidence of something I thought was buried in the past. It was a chilling reminder of a past mistake, one I had tried to forget. I couldn't help but wonder who had sent this and how they had come to know about my secret. My mind raced with possibilities. The message went on to instruct me to follow a link leading to an unlisted video on a well-known video sharing platform. My heart pounded as I reluctantly clicked on the link. The video began with an eerie silence, and then my own face appeared on the screen. It was a recording of me in my own home, completely unaware of being watched. The video showed personal moments, things that no one else could have known. It was a clear invasion of my privacy. The cold sweat on my forehead intensified as the video cut to a shot of my secret, something I had never shared with anyone, something I was deeply ashamed of. The video came to an end, leaving me in a state of shock and disbelief. It was clear that someone was holding my past against me, blackmailing me with the threat of revealing this deeply personal secret to the world. The voice in the video was distorted, making it impossible to identify the person behind this sinister plot. Fear, anger, and desperation swirled inside me as I contemplated my next move. I decided to reply to the email, asking for their demands. The response came quickly, and it was chillingly precise. They wanted a substantial amount of money wired to an offshore account within 48 hours, or they would release the video. There was no room for negotiation. I spent the next 2 days in a state of paranoia and anxiety, trying to figure out how to raise the money. I couldn't turn to the authorities. After all, I had a secret to protect. The torment of not knowing who was behind this or how they had uncovered my darkest secret haunted me. As the deadline loomed, I managed to scrape together the demanded sum, but I couldn't help feeling that I was being watched and monitored every step of the way. I transferred the money as instructed, praying that it would be the end of this nightmare. But it wasn't. Within hours of the money being sent, I received another message. The video had not been deleted as promised, and the voice behind the screen taunted me. "You really thought we'd let you off that easily. Your secret is safe with us, but now we own you." Panic set in as I realized that this tormentor had no intention of letting me go. They had me trapped in a never-ending cycle of fear and submission. I couldn't escape, and I had no idea how to unmask the person behind the screen. They had me at their mercy, and it was a chilling realization. The days turned into weeks, and the torment continued. My tormentor used the information they had on me to manipulate my every move. They made me do things I never thought I would, all under the threat of exposing my darkest secret. My life had become a living nightmare. I desperately sought help from a cybersecurity expert, but even they couldn't trace the origins of the emails or the person behind the voice in the video. It was as if my tormentor existed only in the digital shadows, beyond reach or justice. I withdrew from social media, disconnected from friends and family, and became a shell of my former self. I had lost control over my life, and it seemed there was no way to break free from this suffocating darkness. One evening, as I sat alone in my dimly lit apartment, I received a message that shook me to my core. It was a link to a new video, and this time there was no demand for money. As the video played, I watched in horror as it revealed the tormentor's true intentions. They wanted to expose my secret, destroy my life, and watch me suffer. The video was a countdown to a website they had created, promising to reveal everything about me. Desperation set in as I scrambled to find a way to prevent the impending disaster. I contacted the cybersecurity expert once more, hoping they could help me stop the website from going live. As the countdown reached its final hours, we worked tirelessly to track down the website's location and the person responsible. With minutes to spare, we managed to shut down the website, preventing my darkest secret from being exposed to the world. The relief was palpable, but the tormentor remained elusive. They had evaded capture once again. In the aftermath, I was left to pick up the pieces of my shattered life. The scars of this horrifying ordeal would never fully heal, and the trust I once had in the digital world had been irreparably damaged. I had lost so much of myself in the process, but I was determined to rebuild and regain control of my life. As I sit here now, reflecting on the dark side of social media, I can't help but wonder about the countless others who may be trapped in a similar nightmare. their secrets used against them by faceless tormentors. The digital world, with all its connectivity and convenience, had also become a breeding ground for a different kind of darkness. The lesson I learned was a harsh one. The digital realm, with its promise of anonymity, had the power to bring even the strongest to their knees. It was a chilling reminder that we live in a world where our past mistakes can come back to haunt us in the most terrifying ways. And the shadowy figures lurking in the digital abyss could be anyone, even someone you thought you knew. As I sit here typing this, I can't help but feel a shiver crawl down my spine. This isn't a ghost story, nor is it about monsters under the bed. It's a tale of a darkness that exists right beneath the surface of social media, a place where the horror is all too real. My name is Alex, and this story begins with an app we're all familiar with. A platform that promises connection, but can lead you down a path you'd never expect. It all started innocently enough, just like any other day. I was scrolling through my Instagram feed, double-tapping pictures of cute dogs and mouth-watering food when I received a friend request from a user named The Watcher. The profile picture was a distorted, sinister-looking eye. Despite my better judgment, I clicked on the request, and something about the curiosity gnawed at me. The Watcher's feed was an eerie collection of cryptic images, unsettling quotes, and a peculiar obsession with the concept of watching. The whole thing gave me the creeps, but I couldn't look away. It was like staring at a car crash, disturbing yet strangely alluring. Then the direct messages began. The Watcher would send cryptic messages like, "I see you and you can't hide." At first, I dismissed them as the work of a bored troll, but they persisted. They knew things about my life that I'd never shared online. Secrets only my closest friends and family should know. I tried blocking the Watcher, but it was as if they had an endless supply of new accounts. They would reappear, undeterred, with a new username and a new threat. My paranoia grew, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that my life was an open book. One night, things took a sinister turn. I received a message from the Watcher with a video attachment. It was footage of me, taken from outside my bedroom window. I recognized my room's layout, and it sent chills down my spine. I slammed my curtain shut and reported the video to the authorities, but they couldn't trace the source. Terrified, and with no options left, I confided in my best friend, Sarah. She suggested I delete all my social media accounts and go off the grid for a while. The thought of disconnecting from the world was daunting, but my sanity was on the line. I began to delete my profiles one by one, feeling the weight of the digital world lift off my shoulders. The Watcher's messages continued even as I cut ties with my virtual life. They knew my every move and taunted me about it. 2 weeks of silence followed my digital exodus, and I started to believe that I had escaped the Watcher's clutches. But then, one evening, I heard a knock on my door. My heart raced as I approached cautiously. When I opened the door, no one was there, just a single envelope on my doorstep. Inside, I found a photograph of myself, asleep in my bed. I couldn't bear it any longer. I installed security cameras and called the police. They searched the area, but there were no leads, no signs of intrusion. They advised me to stay with a friend or in a hotel while they continued their investigation. Sarah graciously offered me her spare room, and I accepted, grateful for the reprieve. She lived in a quiet neighborhood far away from the chaos the Watcher had brought into my life. For a while, it felt like sanctuary. However, my relief was short-lived. One evening, while I was in the shower, Sarah called me urgently. I wrapped myself in a towel and rushed to her room. She pointed to her computer screen, where a familiar message from the Watcher appeared. I felt my heart drop. "Welcome to your new home, Alex." My mind raced. How had the Watcher found me? I had severed all my online ties. Then, I remembered that Sarah had posted a few pictures of me on her social media, tagging me in the process. The Watcher had traced me through her. Desperation took over, and I decided to confront the Watcher. I opened the chat and typed, "Who are you? What do you want from me?" The response was swift. "I want you to know that you can't escape. You can't hide from me. Your life is an open book." I pleaded, "Please, just leave me alone. I'll do anything. You've made my life a living hell." The Watcher seemed to enjoy my desperation. "Oh, Alex, you're so much more interesting when you're terrified." Tears welled in my eyes as I realized there was no escape from this tormentor. I didn't know what to do. The police were powerless, and the Watcher had proven that they could find me anywhere. Days turned into weeks as I lived in a constant state of fear. Sarah did her best to comfort me, but she couldn't shield me from the relentless messages and the videos the Watcher sent. They knew my every move, and it was clear that they were watching me through my own security cameras. One evening, after another harrowing message from the Watcher, I noticed something peculiar in the background of the video. It was a street sign, a small detail that I hadn't noticed before. I paused the video and zoomed in, trying to make out the words. "Sarah, come here," I called. She joined me, and we both stared at the screen. The street sign was unmistakable. It was from the town I grew up in, a place I hadn't been to in years. How could the Watcher have known about this place? A surge of determination washed over me. I needed to face my past, return to my hometown, and confront the Watcher. I had to uncover the source of this relentless torment. Sarah and I made the journey back to my hometown, and I retraced my steps through the familiar streets. Memories flooded back, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of nostalgia mixed with dread. I stopped in front of my childhood home, the place where I'd spent my early years. As I approached the front door, a shiver ran down my spine. The door creaked open, revealing a dark interior. The house had been abandoned for years, and the thought of entering it sent a chill through me. But I knew I had to. Sarah and I stepped inside, our footsteps echoing through the empty rooms. We reached my old bedroom, and there it was. The same layout as the one in the video the Watcher had sent me. It was as if they had been here, in my childhood home, recording me while I slept. I noticed a small, worn journal lying on the floor. As I picked it up, I realized it was my diary from my teenage years. Flipping through its pages, I stumbled upon an entry that made my blood run cold. "I found the hidden camera today," the diary read. It was placed in my bedroom, and it had been recording me for who knows how long. I'm terrified and don't know who could have done this. Suddenly, everything clicked. The Watcher had been watching me for years, even before they reached out on social media. They had been with me in my childhood home, violating my privacy and keeping tabs on my life. It was a chilling revelation that shook me to the core. The diary didn't provide any clues about the identity of the voyeur, but I knew I had to find answers. The Watcher had left a trail, and I intended to follow it. Sarah and I thoroughly searched the house, uncovering old photographs and documents that might help us in our quest. The more we dug into the past, the more we realized that the Watcher had a deep connection to my life. It was as though they had been an invisible presence in the background of my childhood. One evening, while I was going through a box of old family photos, I found a faded picture of my parents from their younger days. In the background, there was a figure lurking in the shadows, partially obscured but unmistakably there. It sent a chill down my spine. The Watcher had been with me even in my family's history. Determined to unravel this mystery, I returned to my diary and discovered an entry about an old childhood friend, Mark, who had mysteriously disappeared when we were teenagers. The entry mentioned that Mark had been acting strangely in the days leading up to his disappearance, often talking about someone who was watching him. Could Mark be connected to the Watcher? It seemed like too much of a coincidence, and I had to find out more. I tracked down Mark's family and managed to arrange a meeting with his parents, who were as eager to find answers as I was. During our conversation, they shared the last letters Mark had sent before his disappearance. These letters were filled with paranoia, fear, and mentions of someone who was always watching. It was clear that Mark had been a victim of the Watcher's torment, long before I had. As the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, I realized that the Watcher had been weaving a web of terror for years, targeting not just me, but others as well. I felt a newfound determination to confront this tormentor, to bring them to justice, and to finally put an end to the horror they had inflicted on our lives. Armed with the information I had gathered, I contacted the local authorities and shared all the evidence we had collected. It wasn't long before a dedicated detective took on the case, and we began working together to track down the Watcher. Our investigation led us to a series of old computers and hard drives that Mark's family had kept as mementos. We found a treasure trove of information, including messages, videos, and photographs that the Watcher had used to terrorize not just Mark and me, but others as well. The detective's expertise led us to a breakthrough in the case. We managed to trace the origin of the messages to a secluded cabin in the woods, a place Mark's family had owned for years. It appeared that their Watcher had been using this cabin as ace of operations for their sinister activities. The detective and I, accompanied by a team of officers, made our way to the cabin, determined to confront the Watcher once and for all. As we entered the eerie, dimly lit cabin, a sense of foreboding hung in the air. It was a scene straight out of a horror movie. We found ourselves in a room filled with screens, cameras, and other surveillance equipment. It was clear that the Watcher had turned the cabin into a nightmarish control center for their voyeuristic activities. We continued our search, and as we moved deeper into the cabin, we discovered a hidden room. Inside, we found an array of disturbing photographs and messages, all meticulously organized. It was as though the Watcher had collected a macabre gallery of their victims' lives. I couldn't help but shudder at the extent of this person's obsession. As we pressed forward, we discovered a hidden passage that led to a small chamber beneath the cabin. In this underground room, we found a tangle of wires and servers connected to a sophisticated computer system. It was from here that the Watcher had been orchestrating their campaign of terror. As the detective and I began to dismantle the system, we noticed a note on the wall that sent a chill down our spines. It read, "You can't escape. I am always watching." It was clear that the Watcher had known we would come for them, and they had left this message as a final taunt. We continued our work, determined to put an end to this nightmare once and for all. With the evidence we had gathered, the authorities were able to track down the Watcher's true identity. It turned out to be a disgruntled former neighbor who had become obsessed with my family and Mark's years ago. This person had used their knowledge of our lives and technology to inflict fear and suffering upon us. The Watcher was apprehended and brought to justice, and I finally felt a sense of relief that the nightmare was over. The dark side of social media had led me on a harrowing journey, but it had also shown the power of determination and the resilience of the human spirit. As I reflect on this dark chapter of my life, I can't help but be grateful for the support of friends like Sarah, the dedication of the detective, and the strength I found within myself. I've learned that even in the face of the most terrifying and insidious horrors, we have the power to confront our fears and find the light in the darkest of places. The Watcher may have haunted my life, but they ultimately met their own downfall, proving that evil can never truly escape justice. I've always considered myself a pretty cautious person, especially when it comes to online interactions. You hear about people getting scammed, hacked, or stalked on the internet, and I never wanted to be one of those unfortunate victims. Little did I know that my careful nature would be put to the test in a terrifying way on Instagram. It all began innocently enough. I had recently moved to a new city and created an Instagram account to document my adventures and connect with new friends. My posts were usually about the local sites, my favorite coffee shops, and the occasional selfie. I started gaining followers slowly, nothing unusual. But then, one day, something strange happened. I received a direct message from an account with the handle Mystery Watchman. The profile picture was just a dark silhouette, and the bio was blank. The message simply said, "I've been watching you." Naturally, I was creeped out, but I figured it was just some prankster trying to scare me. I ignored the message and went about my day. However, the messages kept coming, each one more unsettling than the last. The mystery watchman claimed to know where I lived, what I had for breakfast that morning, and even the color of the pajamas I wore to bed the previous night. It was as if this person had been spying on me, and it was driving me insane. I blocked the account, hoping that would be the end of it, but it wasn't. The next day, a new account named The Ide Uzal messaged me with the same eerie tone. "You can't escape me," they said. I couldn't believe it. It had to be a sick joke, right? I reached out to my friends, hoping they would help me unravel this mystery. They advised me to contact the police, but what could they do based on a few strange Instagram messages? I decided to take matters into my own hands. I set my account to private and changed my profile picture, hoping that would throw off whoever was watching me. The following days were quiet, and I thought I had escaped the clutches of my Instagram stalker. But then, a chilling message arrived. "I see you've been trying to hide, but I always find a way." Panic surged through me. How was this person doing it? I had taken every precaution, but they were always one step ahead. I couldn't sleep. My life felt like a never-ending suspense movie, and I was the unwilling protagonist. Desperate, I began combing through my follower list, looking for any accounts that seemed suspicious. It was tedious work, but I had to uncover the identity of my tormentor. That's when I stumbled upon an account with the username Alex Mystery Solver. Their profile was full of cryptic messages and enigmatic puzzles, and they claimed to be an expert in solving mysteries. Perhaps they could help me. I decided to reach out, sending them a direct message explaining my situation. To my surprise, they responded quickly. "I can help you, but this will be dangerous. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to uncover the truth?" I was at the end of my rope, so I agreed without hesitation. Alex Mystery Solver explained that we needed to play the Stalkers game, respond to their messages, and gain their trust to reveal their identity. It was a risky plan, but I had no other choice. For the next few weeks, I played along with the Stalkers' messages, responding calmly and trying to gain their trust. They seemed to enjoy the attention, revealing bits and pieces of information about themselves. They claimed to know everything about me, but they were careful not to reveal their true identity. As we continued our twisted game, I shared the information with Alex Mystery Solver. They helped me analyze the Stalkers' messages, looking for any clues or patterns that could lead us to their identity. It was a painstaking process, but I was determined to uncover the truth. One day, the stalker sent a message that sent shivers down my spine. "I know your deepest secrets, and I'm not afraid to expose them. You can't hide from me." It was a threat that struck fear into my heart. What secrets could the person possibly know? I shared the message with Alex Mystery Solver, and they urged me to be cautious. We were getting closer to revealing the stalker's identity, and they were growing more desperate. It was a dangerous game, and I couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. Then a breakthrough came. Alex Mystery Solver noticed a subtle pattern in the stalker's messages. They seemed to reference locations in the city that were significant to my life. We began to suspect that the stalker might be someone I knew, someone who had access to my personal information. We decided to confront the stalker, taking a bold risk. I sent a message saying, "I know you're closer than I thought. You're someone I've met in real life, aren't you?" The response was immediate and chilling. "You're right. I've been right beside you the whole time." That was when it hit me like a ton of bricks. There was one person who had been a constant presence in my life since I moved to the city. My new roommate, Sarah. We had become friends quickly, and she knew all about my Instagram account and my daily routines. But could she really be the one behind the messages? I confided in Alex Mystery Solver, and they suggested setting a trap for the stalker. We would pretend to go out for the evening, leaving my apartment empty, and see if the stalker made a move. It was a risky plan, but it was our best chance to catch them in the act. As we prepared for the evening, I couldn't shake the feeling of dread. What if I was wrong about Sarah? What if the stalker was someone else entirely, and I had just accused an innocent person? But I had to know the truth, no matter the cost. We left my apartment, making sure to hide nearby. Hours passed and nothing happened. I began to doubt my suspicions, wondering if I had made a terrible mistake. Just as we were about to give up and return home, we received a message from the stalker. "I see you've left your cozy little apartment. You can't escape me." My heart pounded in my chest as we rushed back to the building. The front door was unlocked, and we cautiously entered, searching for any signs of the stalker. That's when we found it, a smartphone hidden under the couch, its screen displaying the latest message from the... I couldn't believe my eyes. It was Sarah's phone. She had been the one tormenting me all along. But why? What had I done to deserve this? Just as we made this shocking discovery, Sarah entered the apartment, her expression a mix of anger and fear. She had been caught red-handed, and it was time for her to explain herself. With trembling hands, she admitted that she had become obsessed with my life. She was jealous of my new friendships and the attention I was getting on Instagram. She wanted to make me feel as vulnerable and exposed as she did. It was a twisted sense of revenge that had led her down this dark path. The police were called and Sarah was taken into custody. She was charged with harassment, stalking, and unauthorized access to my personal information. The entire ordeal was a nightmare I never could have anticipated, and the sense of betrayal from someone I had considered a friend was heart-wrenching. As Sarah was being led away, she gave me one last chilling look. "You'll never truly be safe," she whispered. It sent shivers down my spine, and I couldn't help but wonder if there were others out there like her, lurking in the shadows of the internet. With Sarah in custody, I finally felt a sense of relief. My life slowly returned to normal, and I could once again enjoy my new city and my online presence without fear. The experience left me with a deeper appreciation for online security and a greater sense of caution when interacting with others on the internet. I continued to share my adventures on Instagram, but I couldn't help but glance over my shoulder from time to time, always wondering if there was someone else out there watching, waiting, and ready to strike. The scars from my encounter with the Instagram stalker would never truly fade, serving as a haunting reminder that the dark side of the internet could be closer than we think. The suspenseful ending of this harrowing Instagram horror story reminds us that the digital world can be a place of both wonder and danger. It's a chilling reminder to be cautious, protect your personal information, and never take your online safety for granted. The real monsters in the dark corners of the internet are often closer than you think, lurking behind the profiles of those you trust.